Hello everybody, my name is Gorg from Bozo, and today I have something very special for you. Yes, something that I've been wanting to talk about for a while now, and that is the games of Pax West 2025. Now ideally, this is what I'd want to call a trailer, or at least the intro to a new series I'm planning to do on my YouTube channel called The Games of Pax West 2025. Now before we get into anything, I'd like to kind of treat my channel in a manner as if people who are watching, or some people, have never played games before. So in that sense, before we get ahead of ourselves, I'd like to go ahead and explain exactly what PAX is and what the history of it is, and just exactly why is PAX so awesome. Now, if you're not caring about a history lesson, or if you're already familiar with what PAX is, you can go ahead and skip to the time right here to get to the bulk of the video, or I'll have the different sections down below in the description. Now, for those of you who don't know what PAX is, PAX, or officially known as the Penny Arcade Expo, is a massive gaming convention hosted by two webcomic writers by the name of Jerry Hawkins and Mike Krahulik, which originally were two artists who debuted back in 1998 who focused mainly on comics focused at video game culture in general. Both of these fellas decided that they want to attend some type of convention that focuses mainly on video games. So in 2004 at the Maidenbauer Center, they would go on to host their first ever Penny Arcade Expo in Bellevue, Washington. Now over time, PAX would continue to take place at the convention center, with PAX West 2025 seeing over 120,000 attendees according to the Linwood Times. Now over time, PAX would begin to go by different names as it started to branch out to different parts of the nation and eventually the world, with the first PAX East in 2010 taking place in Boston, Massachusetts. In 2013, PAX would go international, with the first PAX Australia taking place in Melbourne, Australia. In 2015, San Antonio would see the first PAX South, but then that would go on to be shut down in 2021. And between the years of 2011 and 2020, PAX Dev would go on to be an event that focused mainly on the game developers that wasn't open to the press. Eventually in 2017, at the end of a PAX South convention, they would go on to announce a new PAX event by the name of PAX Unplugged would go on to take place at the Pennsylvania Convention Center. Names of PAX, specifically PAX West, would go on to be different names, as in 2010 it would be named PAX Prime, and then eventually gain its name of PAX West in 2015. PAX as a convention consists of many different things relating to the gaming community, such as an expo hall with big names like Nintendo and Capcom setting up booths. Numerous panels and events are held in different showrooms, with even sometimes there being concerts. Tournaments for all types of games, including board games, alongside the free play, which allows you to free play card games, PCs, consoles, and even classic consoles, which I was able to get my hands on a GameCube and play some Splinter Cell Chaos Theory, which was really cool. On top of this, PAX also has an expo hall for all things related to different board games and their vendors. Finally, a 20-person, all 4-day tournament by the name of the Omegathon, which allows 20 lucky contestants to compete in order to get 4 free tickets to any PAX they want, and also a good wad of cash. Now, most importantly, in my eyes, is what is the biggest highlight of PAX for what this series will be covering, is the indie games of PAX West, as in the expo hall alongside the big name panels, you can find heaps and hordes of just different indie developers and different indie games that you can go ahead and try, whether it's a demo for a game that hasn't come out yet, or the game is already out and the studio's just trying to get some publicity. Now, this year during my stay at PAX, there were just so many good indie games that after just trying a few, this idea of a video immediately popped into my head, and so now that is where we find ourselves here with me, and for all of you who happen to come across and join me for this journey as we trail off, I present to you the games of PAX West 2025. Now, with getting the history lesson of PAX out of the way, and with kind of introducing what the series is going to be, I'd like to give a quick little rundown on just exactly how my PAX West went, and what exactly led up to me wanting to create this series. Now, off the rip, this year was my girlfriend and I's second ever PAX, with PAX 2024 not only being our first PAX ever, but also kind of being the reason why we got together in the first place. So during our last year at PAX, for some reason we only decided to fit in 2 days of the trip, only going Saturday and Sunday, and then eventually leaving on Monday. Now the reason we probably did this is because I wanted to do the cheapest option, which then led down to taking that trip, but because we had such a blast at PAX, this year it was no doubt to us that we're gonna go down the 4-day option when it comes to this trip. So fast forwarding back to early August, my girlfriend calls me telling her that she ended up getting a call from Travis Erickson, who's the chief of Megatech of the Omegathon that I have mentioned earlier, who by the way is also the executive director of a charity organization by the name of Child's Play, which is a really cool Seattle-based charity organization which works to bring video games and toys into the lives of child patients in child hospitals in order to make the stay a lot better. Now up here is a QR code, and I'll also put a link to the website down in the description just in case anyone is interested in donating. I definitely encourage you all to do so. So basically this call from Travis is to tell my girlfriend that she just got accepted to be an Omegonaut in the Omegathon, which basically out of the 120,000 people who attend, only 20 people get selected, making this a kind of rare thing to get selected for, as some people I've spoken to have waited anywhere from like 10 to 15 years just to get selected. So this sort of changes our PAX experience, as we pretty much have this to look forward to. So when the time comes, we basically have to meet all the other Omegonauts about 2 hours early on the first day before the event actually starts. This is so that they could round up everyone and give them their Omegonaut shirts and their special badges, as the Omegonauts actually had special badges, and actually mine is just right over here, which I had the ability to be a +1 for my partner, which basically meant I got to just go to all the Omegathons, kind of get the early access and the perks that they get, and also be there to cheer on for my girlfriend, which was really fun. So after this, they basically let us all upstairs where we waited by one of the entrances, and it was at this point where I found out that we were also a part of Media Hour. So basically, near this entrance, there was like a separate group of people, all separate from all the other regular people who were waiting in the atrium to go through the main entrance there, which by the way, the atrium is such a beautiful area of the PAX Center. So what I learned is that all these other separate people that are waiting by these doors are considered media people, just like me, but what I didn't actually know is that PAX has a separate badge for them and has like a whole thing that you apply for. And so when I learned about this, this was kind of one of the beginning small pebbles into what gave this series an idea in my mind. So during Media Hour, basically you and the other media people and all the other Omegonauts basically get 1 hour on the first day before everyone else to just go all over the expo hall and to get to kind of just see things first before everyone else gets there. That resulted in me being able to try out Unimusha Way of the Sword. I hope I didn't butcher that name. And that also allowed my girlfriend, who is a big Resident Evil fan, to try out Resident Evil Requiem, which was obviously a big demand of the convention, of course. Now, basically throughout the day, my girlfriend and I found ourselves basically going back and forth between the buildings, as we had to juggle trying to make it to all the different Omegathon events, while also wanting to spend as much time as possible in the Arch, since the Arch closes at like 6 p.m, way sooner before everything else. Now, for the first day, we spent a good chunk of time in the Summit building, as for the Omegathon for the first day, both events were only like a couple hours apart, and it genuinely takes like 15 to 20 minutes just to get from one building to the other, all over like down the street from other, because both events are held on like the highest floors of said building. Now in the Summit building, I was able to pick up some really cool new dice for D&D, which looked really fresh and they feel pretty heavy, which is really nice, so those are really cool. Now, during the first 2 rounds of the Omegathon, I basically got to cheer my girlfriend on, and she did very well, which by the way, the Omegathon is consistent of 6 rounds, with each 5 round being a different game, and then the 6th round is a hidden game. This year, Travis threw a wrench into the entire system, with having all 5 rounds being Minecraft, with the 6th round being something as a surprise, as far as we knew. Not only was it Minecraft, but basically everyone was forced to play on a controller, and they also tried to make it as intuitive as possible, making it where it's like it was all split screen, and so you sat on the different side of the screen that you're playing on. For the first round, they did parkour, which I have to admit was the most painful thing I've ever had to watch someone else do. And the second round was Bed Wars, which I forgot to get a video of because I was genuinely on the edge of my seat watching my girlfriend because it was just so intense. Now, after that, I went to a Outer Wilds meetup, which was really sick as it was ran by a fan who set up different tables, and each different table had a different instrument. And the idea was that people who were fans could come in, get to learn the instrument, learn how to play the main theme of the game, and then everyone would try to harmonize. It was really cool. There was some really good cosplays there. I even got to take a picture of a Nomai, which was awesome. They also had snacks. They had Capri Suns, and then they also had marshmallows and like little sticks that you could put like the marshmallows on, which was awesome. And then there was also another creator there by the name of Samurai Kabiji, which I recommend you all to go check out his video. I'll definitely link his channel in the description. He's a really cool channel that covers a lot of gaming content and also loves games. And he went ahead and made like a compilation video of everyone's most and least favorite planets of Outer Wilds, which resulted in this gem.
Most favorite, Giant's Deep. Least favorite, Brittle's Hollow makes me so mad.
I hate Umbrella Hollow is mad. Black hole is so cool though.
Cool until you're on the other side of space and you have to look up watching the white hole station align.
But wait, have you ever slingshot around the black hole and I just like do revolutions around?
That's like really cool, except when you slam into a cliff really hard and die.
That's funny though.
Besides this, the next few days were kind of the same, with us being caught going back and forth between the two buildings with trying out different games, and then also trying to make it to the All Megathon rounds, where round 3 was 3 people got together for split screen, and it was who could build to the height limit the fastest, which my girlfriend went absolutely nuts on. She was the first one to make it, which secured her on to the next round, which was awesome. And so with Saturday only having one round, we basically got to spend the rest of the day in the expo hall. We played Ready or Not as they had a booth there, and then we also got to try out Tarkov Arena, which is just a 5v5 like close quarters combat version of Tarkov with the same fighting mechanics, which is also really cool as they kind of had a whole like booth set up there that looked like a training grounds, so that was just really fun to be a part of. Now, something I forgot to mention was that between the two buildings, PAX actually closes down a road and fills it up with a bunch of food trucks, which are all really good, but on the first day, my girlfriend and I happened to be too late to the food trucks, and so they all shut down. And so in our predicament of just being too hungry and having nowhere to get food, if you go on Pine Street and you walk up, if you go a little bit past the obviously pink Voodoo Donuts building, you'll find yourself at a burger joint by the name of Lil Woody's, which is an awesome place where you can get all types of different burgers and fries for a really good price. The atmosphere of the place is just really chill, and the guy who took our order was really cool and funny to talk to. And the food was great. I ordered a salmon burger, which sent me to heaven for a minute. So if you find yourself in my same predicament or just looking for a good place near the convention center in Seattle to eat, I highly recommend Woody's. On top of this, the expo hall every day closes at about 6 p.m. So for all the people who don't immediately go home, a lot of them flood into the Summit building, which at this point there's still a good amount of evening events or panels that might still be held. But most importantly is the access to the free play area. We're also down here. This is where I find myself usually going once the place closes down, but here you can also sign up for tournaments, which on the first day I signed up for a Risk of Rain 2 tournament, which the tournament was to see who could kill Mithrix the fastest with an hour and a half to do so, and dying and unlocking new characters to see which way, and having different methods to do it would, you know, be allowed. And then on the third day I was able to be a part of a Halo Master Chief Collection tournament, which I also went to last year, and both last year and this year I got to the semifinals. And not only is it just really fun to be a part of, but I love being a part of the community. The people there are really fun to talk to, and there's some great people. So if you ever find yourself going to Pax West, definitely try your hardest to get to that. I highly recommend it. Just it does run for some reason really late at night, so be very careful of that. Now with the third day, God said let there be light, as the entire idea of this video basically got birthed, as on the third day it was the 4th round of Megathon and my girlfriend finally got out, which it happened to be a scavenger hunt, which, you know, was kind of tough for her because she does not really like Minecraft. She kind of hates that game and she sees it as her Dark Souls, but she loves Bloodborne, so I don't know. After her getting out of the Omegathon, we basically had the rest of PAX to just chill and do whatever we wanted to, and so we decided to head back to the Expo Hall and for the next 2 days spend as much time as we possibly could in there, where I wanted to try and play as many indie games came out. And while doing all of this, I happened to come across a booth for the game White Knuckle, which I've heard about, but I didn't really know anything about it till I bumped into one of the developers of the game at their booth. Basically, he is a climber from New Mexico who is a part of a 3-team dev team who basically took SCP and climbing and put them both in together to birth White Knuckle. And so after talking to him for a bit and watching someone play the demo, I saw someone in the demo, basically you can take like pistons and you can use a hammer and you can hammer in the pistons to make new climbing holds. And so for someone who really loves the climb, such as myself, I was instantly sold. So while talking to them about their game, I basically learned that they had like a bunch of Easter eggs in the game, and that you can skip a lot of things in the game, as the fact that you can pretty much climb onto anything like signs or light posts, which was really cool. And so after all this talking, it was my turn to get up to the game, and I got to play the tutorial. And so after playing the tutorial, while wearing the headphones, they were kind of hear through, and I can hear the developers kind of watching me play, and they're like, man, this like kid's a natural, and it was like they're like saying some like really nice and reinforcing things. But eventually I got to the hammer part, where the person who's playing the tutorial, I saw them hammer it, which sold the game to me. As I got there, I noticed that there was something in the darkness that like was away from like the area where the tutorial wants you to go. So basically, as I noticed that, I was like, interesting. So I took all the pistons and I took the hammer and I ran over here and I started hammering my like way up into this darkness, and through the headphones I could hear the developers like talking to my girlfriend, but also getting like really excited and like freaking out a bit. And basically they're like, oh my god, he's about to find it, he's about to find it. And so as I get there, basically you get to like break into this vent shaft, and you go in and you jump through and you see this art wall, and it's like this room is full of like all the names of the people who helped fund the game. So after finding this, one of the developers came up to me and he was like, so yeah, this is basically the first art we ever kind of drew for the game, and so this is also, you know, the secret room. But not only this, but they were like, you are also the first person at Pax West to find this Easter egg. Now I don't know if I was the only one, but I was the first. And because of this, that felt good. I was really excited. Talking to them was fun. I took a picture of them, which was really cool. I basically, during talking with them, I was like, thank you guys so much. This is such a cool game. I think I'm probably gonna, you know, cover it in my YouTube video on my channel. And they were like, oh, you have a channel? What's your channel? So I told them it's Gorg from Bozo. And basically, 2 out of the 3 developers of White Knuckle subscribed to my channel, which is awesome. So Jack and Quinn, if you guys are seeing this, it was great to meet you, and thank you guys both very much. You guys are pretty much the reason why this series is now a part of my channel. And on top of that, I will probably be covering White Knuckle as the first video of this series. So now I'd like to dive into what my plan is for the games of PAX West 2025, and essentially like what this series is going to be. And to start all of that off, I would like to sit here and look at my board. As I played and I saw these indie games, I collected a bunch of flyers from almost every single indie game that I played, and what the idea is that over time I want to go through and play test and try every single game on this board, and then I'm going to go and basically make a mini video essay about it, at least because most of the games aren't out. Even if they are, like for example, out of most of these games, I'd say White Knuckle is the most out. And to give you guys a glimpse into the future of the type of games that you might see featured on the series, you have Swap Meet, which is a roguelike combination of Helldivers 2 and Risk Rain 2, where basically you are dropped down onto these planets, fighting all these different aliens. As you kill things, they drop body parts, and you have to swap out the body parts, and all the body parts do different things, and that's really cool. You have Rabbit Hall, which is a comfy farming game where at the day you kind of build up your farm, collect resources, and then you build plants that act as like a tower defense. And at the night your farm gets attacked. Then you have Sherman Commander. And Sherman Commander is pretty much a real-time strategy slash milsim like game where you are a commander of a Sherman tank in World War II, and you are in charge of getting you and other tanks and a bunch of infantry units into the city and secure like a specific objective, at least the one I played during the demo. And so those are kind of like the games, and they're just different types of indie games that we're going to come across during this series. And so with all that being said, that is my conclusion to the games of PAX West 2025. I am excited to have you guys alongside this series. If you guys enjoyed this video of my PAX trip and are excited to maybe see what I have to talk about later on, please go ahead and like and subscribe. Turn the bell notification on just in case my videos come out so you can, see them when they do. And with all that being said, my name is Gorg from Bozo, and I will see you guys all in the next one.